Dreamers can't be tamed.
Oh! This building this school isn't just about the children. It's about changing the paradigm that we have about teaching.
Agreed. I agree.
And that's really a big thing for me too. Like if you look in the proposal, you'll see that there's a big emphasis on the care of teachers, the facilitators that we have, and making sure that they receive the proper training and understanding of what teaching and coaching really means. And to me, it's also educating on the difference between teaching and coaching. There's a difference between the two. And it's necessary to understand both of them because a teacher, an effective teacher, needs both of them. I also believe and I also theorize that the intent of a teacher isn't to deliver a specific content, but to deliver emotional intent behind the content. So think about the best teachers that I ever had always made me feel emotional in some way, whether it's fear,
Yeah.
whether it's care or love. It's because I knew that teacher cared and because I knew that teacher was going to bring something to the classroom where they showed some emotional intent behind the lesson is when I paid attention. So if we train teachers to be able to not say, hey, these are the objectives I'm trying to deliver X, Y, and Z, more so, this is the emotion I'm trying to pull out of my students today so that I can deliver their content with that emotion for it to stick. Because kids learn fast. Kids learn fast. Everybody learns fast. We learn as human beings, we have the capability of learning fast. It's the emotion behind when we're learning something that allows it to really stick.
All right, and it's all those. So then also it's those micro tasks, right? So like habits, right? A lot of things you gain confidence from just building in part of it. People talk about habits, but I think of it more as like it's just your daily routine or your workflow. Like you have to make these new things part. So like even when I started coming right to class, like it wasn't part of my normal day. Like I lost that whole physical aspect of my day. I had to build in the time to travel and then take class and then relax, and that 90 minutes was now back to part of my routine, to which now I'm almost there every single day, but like not in some physical fashion. I'm saying like running.
But you allowed yourself to connect to that emotion of the habit or the routine that you in place. So instead of, and this is where for me as a teacher and as a coach, I say it's not about the routine. It's about how you feel during the routine. What are you actually experiencing? Because that allowed you to say, oh shit, this makes me feel great. It makes me feel great. Now you attach the emotional attachment to that routine. Now it becomes more enticing to do it.
Yeah.
Every day.
Except the problem was, why did I stop? Is because the emotional routine of going to the gym and just getting like just tired all the time was still stuck in my head. I couldn't get past that. It took a long time. Look, it's been 2 years. I'm still working on trying to go out every day and get back to where it's like I'm outside for at least 60 minutes or, like physically doing something. I'm not there yet. And
it's the perspective that we have on certain things. And that's one other concept that I feel is very important to teach in schools is there's a shitload of information right now out in the world, and nobody knows what to necessarily believe anymore, or what is right or what is wrong. And the thing is, if you understand perspective, like the whole thing with the presidents in this country, both sides have legitimate points to their arguments. I mean, not the Donald Trump and President Biden. I'm talking about like the actual people. The actual people have legitimate arguments for why they want to vote for this individual. But in actuality, if you look really closely, they're both fighting for the same thing. It's the perspective that they have on the certain situation. Everybody in the United States wants to live a healthy life. Everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants more money. We all desire those things. It doesn't mean that a Republican and Democrat want different things. We want the same things, but it's the perspective we have on how something should be done that separates us. Now, if you teach perspective and you say, for example, why you still struggle maybe going to the gym is because in one moment in time, we may have a perspective in where, oh shit, this is uncomfortable. I don't like this, versus should being uncomfortable and leaning into the discomfort is where I grow are two different perspectives on the same fundamental principle that creates change in either direction, for the worse or for the better.
Yeah, well, so that's the point I'm at now, right? So I've been at this for 2 years, trying to lean into this uncomfortability with what, again, the style of this organization. It's not clicking for me anymore, right? So like, do I go back to what I used to think, which is, all right, well, you got to suck it up because this is how it is and you're going to get better eventually? Or is it like, all right, I'll take what I learned and then try to do it elsewhere and lean it? And that's the path I'm going down now, right? Because I don't want to put myself through any more frustration of maybe potentially limiting how quickly I progress and lean into that to develop a little bit better, right?
And that's really understanding yourself.
Yeah, I feel like if I'm staying there now, I'll still develop, but it's going to be slower than if I tried it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Open to that, and I'm not fearful of that, which I was previously, right? So the other part, so getting like to the technology parts, right? I think the other thing is, yes, you're right. Teachers, I think now are more open to like, oh shit, I got to do stuff online, learn how this works. And again, as much as people say like I'm not good at this, I know they've adapted to this. And they're like, let me use this. Listen, there's a shit ton of great software out there that like you just have to apply. That's the part I actually want to get back to doing, which is like make this available to this and like even on a small scale, because doing things on a bigger scale, again, that's what I'm currently doing now. It's just too slow to make things happen because we're working with 55 schools. There's like 5 layers of decisions. It just sucks. I don't like that. And it's just really annoying. But the technology things, it's all available at this point.
What happens if I told you, have you been on our Mighty Networks platform?
Hmm.
You've seen it, right? So you can develop courses. How about we train teachers on how to develop engaging content in courses that students can go into at a self-paced with a facilitator that guides it?
I don't want to sound like overconfident or arrogant, but like that's exactly what my intention was when I took over in Pal Park. I was like, I want the teachers to create their own website, list all their shit. Again, this was 10 years ago. Put all their shit up there, and eventually I'm going to teach them like, yes, record yourself, do this, do it. Like just automate that process so you don't have to repeat your shit all over again.
You can
Like,
focus on the individual and their social emotional aspect to the content.
right? Because I think, yeah, I think you remember Mr. Ring, right? Frank Ring.
Yeah.
He mastered it. Like his all of his classes. He just has all the videos, he has all the things. So and he was kind of on autopilot. He was cruising a little bit, but then it's facilitating that class. It's help letting them figure it out. So he figured that out. It just hasn't permeated to everybody else because they're resistant to it.
Because they don't have the training in it.
That's true too.
They don't have the training. We give them the training. So one of the concepts in Life Academy is training teachers on how to develop this content, these course curriculums, so they're not focusing. And this is awesome because now what we can do is, as a school, as an organization, the model can pay individuals for their courses. Hey, we want you to create, we heard that you were a great teacher in Algebra 2. We want you to create this course. We're going to give you the resources, the cameras, and we're going to edit the content for you. And we're going to pay you $3,000 for the course. And we get access to it. Boom, the guy just created a course for us. We have it. We no longer have to pay this individual every day for coming in and teaching a group of students 25 at a time. That doesn't work. Now we have one facilitator that is responsible for 10 students going through that class and being like, okay, here's how you can do it. Here are the resources that can help you. I'm going to get this student to help you. Now you save millions of fucking dollars and actually target the student in being able to grow.
Yep. Oh, actually, to expand on that, if you're doing that, you can have other people do the same topic and let the kid pick which one they want. Which one do they associate better with that style? I think that you want that too. The other point I wanted to make, you said something about like training the teachers. Like I think the other part too that I enjoyed, I think they do this at like Google, right? You gotta let people do their own personal projects out loud too, right? Why? I don't tell people about like my podcast or like my business. I don't tell anybody that at work because one, we're always working. Two, I don't know that I had that relationship with people to invite them into that idea. But I shouldn't feel like that. People should know that one, I'm working on this. This is my side project, which may be my main project, and I shouldn't be judged for it or whatever. But so like time aside to develop your own projects is cool too.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. And this is why I was always thinking about you. I was passing St. Joseph's because they closed down the private school down the street.
You told me that.
And I kept looking at the building. I'm like, yo, there's this empty building right here that's doing absolutely nothing that used to host hundreds of kids. I was like, what happens if I can get in there? What happens if I can bring a team and actually make this come to life? And I thought of you. And my idea right now is putting a team together that can build this out, like build a proposal out to be able to go to individuals that I can, knock on doors of investors and philanthropists and donors and be like, hey, we need $500,000 to work on this project and actually put it together. This is what's going to happen. This is what we want to achieve. This is how we're going to do it. This is the plan. We need these people because 500 grand at that point can pay people for an entire year to actually make this happen. And then once we have the idea and we start to market it, now you go to the state and you get an X amount of dollars per pupil that starts to pay for partial of the budget. We can even go the route of, hey, it costs you $200 a month to be a student here at this special school, and you're going to get X, Y, and Z. That gives a little bit more revenue in there. And then the rest of it, we can pull together through fundraising. We can get through organizations, resources, partner up with different companies that can actually make it happen because it's going to be something that doesn't exist. So for me, like when I think about it, I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking possible. This can be possible if you have the right people.
I now must again if you look at the opposite side of people that are doing this for the wrong reasons, obviously they made it happen for the wrong reasons, right? Like people created charter schools for profit to make money for themselves, or they made it specifically so that they could have the best basketball team in the country. So like, yeah, it's possible, right? Like, and you're right, I shouldn't think that it's harder than it is because this is the kind of the model that again Uncommon Schools has. We just opened up Camden Prep High School. It's the first high school in Camden. They enrolled 50 kids. It's the same exact thing that you said. I think we already know the operations of how our school operates, right? Like the basics of what's needed. It's really just facilities, making sure there's safety, legality things, and funding is.
All we're doing is changing the methodology of information. Yeah. We're changing the way that we're delivering information. That's all it is.
True. You're right.
It's nothing that crazy. We're just changing. We're doing it in a way that's more efficient and effective. We're getting more bang for the dollar. If we theoretically, we're getting more bang for the dollar.